Education is the most hot topic in the world. China, Japan, Korea, Finland, and the US, they all have different methods to teach. Today, let's take a look at the K-12 education in America. I interviewed 3 people from I know who have different backgrounds, but they all study at UC Davis. Now, let's listen the voice from them.
So I was born and grew up in Sacramento, California in the United States.
What do you like or dislike in your K-12 education?
K-12 education, I think the biggest thing is that it takes 13 years and there really isn't all that much material in it. So it's too slow, I guess.
I was born in China, but I grew up in the States. And I came to the States when I was 10 years old.
So, are you present K-12 education in the US?
I was in China till 4th grade, so yes, for the rest of the grades. I mean, that's how diverse the classes are in comparison to, example, the classes in China. And I feel like the teachers are more helpful because they're more personal in their ways of teaching, and there are much more hands-on assignments and projects, and there are more ways for you to try to figure out what you want to do in the future. But it's also very well, the core classes, for example, they're much more stressful, and they tend to gear toward like getting good scores instead of actually learning for your own sake. And because once you get into high school and stuff, you start to preparing for SATs or ACTs, you become more like engaged in getting good scores instead of actually learning.
What's the big difference for you?
How much you actually get out of learning. Because, well, I can't really say because I don't have a lot of experience of education in China, but from what I have heard from friends and maybe like from media, it feels like in China you're much more pressured to like getting good scores instead of actually enjoying what you're learning. But in the States, even though that's also kind of the case, but that's like a little bit in high school, but other than that, you still have a lot of options in like taking the classes you want and like enjoy the subjects you're taking. Like in general, I would like to study in US better, just because of the freedom it has in comparison to the Chinese education, but they both have their pros and cons. I think that would be like different for everyone.
Yes, it is different for everyone. For Haley, she likes the Chinese way better.
Guangzhou, and I grew up in Guangzhou until 8th grade. And because in China, you really can learn a lot of things, even though sometimes it's really hard and you have a lot of homework to do. But after you go to college, based on your high school education, you will be like more easier like to pass.
K-12 education has their own pros and cons for different countries. In my opinion, the US K-12 education is working well. Students like its freedom and diversity. I didn't take K-12 in the US, but some of my friends complain that they're not really learning many things in their 12 years. So I think the US K-12 education needs to improve their quality.